Amazing views with luxury homes right here in the Austin metro area. In this video, I'm walking you through the newest model home built by Toll Brothers that has incredible design work on the inside. Also, if you like great views, you want fantastic lots to build these homes on, stick with me. We're going to tour some lots later on in the video that have incredible views along the western corridor of the Austin metro area. Now, we are in a community called Lakeside at Tessera, which is located in Lago Vista, Texas. Lago Vista is a suburb along the northwest corridor of the Austin metro, and there is nothing but beauty in this area. In fact, the picture on the right side of the wall is a picture of the Colorado River running through these beautiful hills in this area of Lago Vista, Texas. And I'm touring the Pickett plan built by Toll Brothers Homes. As you can tell, when you first walk in, it's open to the second story, and then this gives you a good glimpse of the design work that Toll Brothers put into this new model home. And those hills that you see in the background, that beautiful greenery, the section of lots that you saw right at the beginning of this video, we will cover all of that in full detail, and I'll show you some great opportunities to build in the Austin metro area with great views. Now, for the details on this plan, we have anywhere from 3 to 4 bedrooms, 3 to 4 bathrooms. We're over 2,300 square feet, but there is an additional bedroom and bathroom that gets a little bit more square footage on the second floor that is a structural upgrade, and I'll cover that all in detail throughout this video. Now, if you want a larger home with Toll Brothers, I will show you a 5,000 plus square foot home that's east of here, also in these rolling hills in the Austin metro area, that's currently for sale at the time I'm recording this video. So stick with me, we'll cover that later on in this video. Now, what I find so many of my clients tell me they love about Toll Brothers is the different design options that they can select when building these homes from scratch, or when they buy an inventory home that's already under construction. They love the upgrades that are shown here. I think this model home captures that really well, where they did a different color on this designer vent hood. It matches up really well with the cabinet hardware, with the kitchen faucet, with the appliances, and some of the decor that's in here. So it provides this great contrast. Also, that dark touch pulls out the different veins that are in this kitchen countertop on the island that they did as a waterfall countertop along the sides, just providing that extra design element that I think so many people are looking for in their kitchen. Now, as we look out the kitchen island, it's hard not to get struck by that beautiful view off the side of this home. Now, this specific model home is a corner lot, so that street out there is one of the main roads that goes in, so you will have some cars driving along there, but that beautiful view of the hills in the background, some of these views are absolutely priceless. And I will show you views outside of this home. I'll go to some of the lots that are currently available for sale at the time I'm recording this video. We'll even see the amenity center in this neighborhood because it's beautiful. It's perched up on a hillside that looks out to a waterway, and there just aren't that many opportunities to get that type of amenity in the Austin metro area, really anywhere in Texas. But Austin here has incredible hills and just nothing but beauty along this western corridor. Now, as we look back at that waterfall countertop, which I wanted to show you one more time because that has such a great design element in this kitchen, let me introduce myself. My name is Raj Sahu. I'm a realtor in Austin, Texas, and I've represented clients with 20 different builders. Now, I don't work for any builders. I work for my clients, and I give them an unbiased perspective because I have great experience working with these various builders, working with dozens and dozens of construction managers and builder agents. And I got to tell you, a lot of builders have pros, a lot of builders have cons too. And so I'm not afraid to give those pros and cons for each of the options that we look at. And I'll try to give you some of those throughout this video because what I have to say, square footage is very deceptive. For being in the mid 2000s for square footage, you wouldn't expect to get this in your main living room where you have sliding glass doors that just make that space feel so much larger because it opens up to that exterior patio. I love the design work that's behind this TV. A lot of clients doing this type of work after closing, where there are so many options that you can do for a fun accent wall. And then my clients always tell me they want to do something fun in their living room, like that accent wall, but beams across the ceiling is a great touch. I actually just had a client do this with some foam beams that you would think would not look great, but when you paint them, they look just like wood. Most people think they're these incredible wood beams, and it's foam. Like, you can just lift those up on the ceiling. It's not that difficult, and I have a lot of those types of projects that my clients are doing after closing if a builder is not willing to do it, or sometimes a builder does carry a little bit more of a premium for some of these fun upgrades that you can do. So sometimes it makes sense to just do it after closing if you're willing to do it to save the money. Where you can also save money is avoiding doing these structural upgrades like sliding glass doors off your back wall. Now, I think for a space like this, it makes such a huge difference. And even though I can't give the price on a public facing video because builders get mad when that price changes in the future, and then becomes an inaccurate video, which I don't want to do to you, just keep in mind, it does come with quite the price tag when you're looking at your overall design and structural budget. But I think for opening up that space, it can come back to you at future resale just because that space looks so different with that sliding glass door in place. Now, if that wasn't there, it would usually be 3 windows with a patio door, which would also have a window in the patio door. So you'd still have access, obviously, to your patio, but it just wouldn't be that long sliding glass door. Now, what you do get is in the primary suite, the tray ceiling, I think, makes such a big difference there. And putting some sort of design element there just adds that touch so that when you look into that room, you can't help but look up. And then your eyes can't help but look out to that beautiful view. And by the way, if you look at that area where it looks almost like a desert, that's an area that they're just clearing out now at the time I'm recording this video, where they're doing site work and about to release some lots that will have ridiculous views off their backyard. So stay tuned. I will again show you what that looks like later on in the video. And a shout out to my videographer, Mark, who's doing his best to stay out of the reflection in all the mirrors that are in this home. And I obviously toured these homes in person, but I can't always make the time to get all this video footage. And I pride myself on getting all the videos I can of all the various floor plans, so that when my clients reach out to me, majority of them that are located out of state or out of town, I try to get them as much footage as I can of the best options for them, so that when they travel into Austin, they're much more prepared. It's more of a review process. And I've found, after working with dozens and dozens and dozens of clients, that is the best strategy to figure out what your best options are. And also, even when you're here in Austin, just seeing what those options look like, you go out one day and it just becomes very confusing because all the names of different plans, different builders, different communities, they all start to blend together. And so I create a buyer board through this software platform called Trello. A lot of my clients that are in tech know Trello, and they use it sometimes in their profession. And so I've used that to keep track of all of our options. And that's been very, very useful for a lot of my clients. I've gotten a lot of positive feedback using that software, and also just getting all this footage to review our options. Now, when I say options, keep in mind there are just different floor plans with different builders in various communities, but there are even options within each of these floor plans. So to explain that further, there are usually design and structural upgrades that we select. So when we contract on a home, we go to their design studio with a builder, usually after you contract, and you saw some tile there in the primary bathroom, in that walk-in shower that went all the way up to the ceiling. You see some flooring here, cabinet colors, anything tile related, backsplash related, fans, light fixtures, outlets. These are all things that can be done at their design studio to select what you want. And when working with builders like Toll Brothers, like I mentioned, they tend to have a little bit more in options, but they also tend to have structural upgrades like that. In the distance, you see a workout room. It does take out some of the space in the tandem garage at the time I'm recording this video. I think this is a fantastic upgrade. They have a couple of Pelotons in there, and I think having a space for a stationary bike is so important. And I think for clients that are in this square footage, looking in the mid 2000s for square footage, sometimes they just want to add some square footage in certain places that they know they're going to utilize every day or every week. And that's really important for for a lot of clients in this market where they don't want to compromise, especially when they're paying at a certain price point. Now, that's a great structural upgrade that they're currently offering. They also have a office where they take a flex room and turn it into a study on the first floor. We'll see that a little bit later on in the video. Upstairs, we'll see an upgrade that you can do to get an additional bedroom with bathroom. There's also a media room upgrade upstairs. So there's a lot that you can do in this plan. So even though it starts just over 2,300 square feet, some of these things that I'm saying, like that workout room, adds square footage to the space to get more of what you want. And for so many of my clients, they say, I want to get more of what I want. So that's why they end up building from scratch. And sometimes that's on the inside of the home. Sometimes that's also on the outside of the home, where they say, I want a beautiful view off my backyard. I want to see the beautiful hills that are in the Austin metro area. And that's why I love coming out to areas like this, because there is a different lifestyle that's here, especially on the western side of the Austin metro. And that exists right here in Lakeside at Tessera. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, well, this is just a model home. Are there lots that have great views that back up to greenery or back up to views? Well, I'm here to tell you there is right here in this community. Let me show you. Now, if you're trying to imagine what that home would look like on one of the lots that's here at Lakeside at Tessera, just look right behind me. When I said there's incredible topography that's here in Lago Vista, Texas, this is exactly what I was talking about. So if you're interested in building with great views behind you, right off your backyard, reach out to me. My number's at the bottom of the description of this video. Back to the video. Now, there is still so much to see here because we have a home coming up later on in the video that's going to be over 5,000 square feet in a neighboring community that Toll Brothers has been building in for years, and that's a community called Travisso. Now, if you don't know anything about this area, Travisso is one of the most popular neighborhoods in the North Austin area, probably the most popular when it comes to new construction. And it's because you have these rolling hills. It's right on the edge of those hills in Leander, Texas, so you have quick access to a lot of the businesses and amenities that are off of 1431, or what most people here call Whitestone Boulevard. And then it's also Leander ISD, and people tend to favor Leander ISD compared to other school districts around there. And that combination of beautiful rolling hills, Leander ISD, close to amenities, and you can build huge homes with Toll Brothers and another builder, that's made that community extremely popular. So I'll show you a home later on in the video for sale at the time I'm recording this video, and also one of my clients' lots. They are about to build a 5,000 plus square foot home in that community of Travisso. Getting back into this model home tour, we're in this study area where I don't even remember what they did on the front here. It's almost like a design, not a wall. I've actually never seen something like that before, and it definitely matches up with the decor that's there on the wall. Let me know what you think about that. So currently, at the time I'm recording this video, in the floor plan, that's just a flex room, and that just means that it's an open space. But if you want to close that in and put double doors, there is a office or study option. And when I keep saying at the time I'm recording this video, just keep in mind these upgrades do change over time. So we should absolutely be double checking some of these things with the builder just to make sure that they're still offering some of those options. Now, this is going to be the utility room. They have a copier machine in here because they use this home as their office to show what you can build with different clients that are touring the community. But eventually they do sell this home, and that's where there will actually be a garage area close by to here. That's why there's a mud bench right here, and then there is a separate access way to get to that workout room that we saw previously. Now, I want to give you another look at this workout room because I have a lot of clients that are requesting this, and I'm identifying floor plans that have this upgrade because I'm getting this request so much. I actually thought that this was just something that people needed during the pandemic because of obvious reasons. We were all kind of stuck inside. Some gyms were closed down. But now I'm realizing some people just want something like this in their home so they get quick access to like a stationary bike, like a Peloton or something like that, because they're trying to fit their workout in between work, if they have kids, all the things that come with having kids. And sometimes your workout's at 7 a.m. before kids are up, or 6 a.m. Sometimes it's in the middle of the day. Sometimes it's after kids go to sleep. Sometimes there's just never a moment where you can consistently get to your gym and it's nice to have that workout space right in your own home. And that's the feedback that I'm getting from clients, to the point where I have, I believe, at least 3, possibly 4 plus clients right now building homes that have workout rooms inside of their home. And when you're building, the beauty of that is you can put electrical outlets up on the wall so you can hang a TV in an area that you want to hang it in. Let me know what you think about that in the comments below, and I'll tell you what my clients think about grand entrances like this. You wouldn't think this is possible at this square footage, but Toll Brothers has so many floor plans that just look grand. And that's where I told you earlier, the square footage can be very deceptive, because the structure of the home, the flow, along with the design, can play games with your mind on how you feel about these homes. And believe me, I tour homes and have for many years now with clients, and I always like having a client guess what a square footage is in a home when I know it's going to be off, because I know how that home feels. And sometimes it's way higher in the minds of a lot of clients who walk these homes. Like you saw the ceiling height in this second bedroom downstairs, the windows off the front of the home. These all play games in your mind to make it feel like it's so much bigger than it is. And by the way, that feeling continues to exist 6 months into living in a home, years into living in a home, and that never stops. Ceiling height, windows absolutely make a difference. But I've also seen some of my clients where they say, hey, why is this home so much less expensive for the square footage and it's a similar lot size? And I say, hey, let's go tour it. Or, hey, let me go take a video. And I'll show them the home. And they can even see, and a lot of times, just the video alone, it feels so much smaller than the actual square footage. And just keep in mind, there are different builders. Like, there are builders that are less expensive for the square footage, but you're not going to get that ceiling height. You're not going to get the windows. It's going to be more production heavy. You're not going to get options. You're not going to get like designer vent hoods and flooring options and all these things that come with some of these luxury builders. With the luxury builders, you tend to get more options, but keep in mind that might show in the price. So that there is pros and cons, like I mentioned before. It's just a matter of understanding what those pros and cons look like and how much you value those different pros and cons. And I'm going to go a little bit deeper on that in a second to try to provide you some value here. But I want to show you that we are in the downstairs secondary bathroom. And I think this is really important to have that walk-in shower, but also have a second bedroom and spare full bathroom downstairs, simply because a lot of clients that I'm talking to now, they want a second bedroom down for their parents or somebody elderly in their life that's aging, and they don't want them going up and down the steps. And by the way, that hillside off the front of the home is incredible. There's so many great parts of this model home, but also the functionality makes a lot of sense. And this sometimes can make a lot of sense too. Some sort of design element at the front entrance, on the wall, and on the ceiling. And what's funny is this actually reminds me of one of my clients where, after closing on their Toll Brothers home, they bought a Tampico plan in another community in the Austin metro area called Santa Rita Ranch, top selling community in the Austin metro. And they had a grand entrance on that Tampico plan. It was around 4,000 square feet. It's got a curved staircase. And after closing, they saw these different designs that Toll Brothers was putting in their model homes at the entrance, and they did something very similar to what you just saw there on the wall as a very fun design piece to make their grand entrance just that much more grand. And I think it came out really well. And I also think this came out really well on the model home, where you have that hillside on the 2 windows off of this game room loft area. You also have a tray ceiling and that very fun ceiling design that you saw from the entrance when you walk in through the front door. And here's where the plan gets very interesting. So there is a media room upgrade past that game that you see down there. I forget what that game is called. Somebody in the comments tell me what that game is. I almost said skee ball, but it's obviously not skee ball. It just has those pucks. Shuffleboard, I think it is. I think that's shuffleboard. So beyond that shuffleboard, it would be a media room that you could do that would add square footage to the plan. Another upgrade that you could do is add an additional bedroom and bathroom. And that's what you're going to see on the second floor in this model home. But that's what I mentioned earlier, where, even though we're starting over 2,300 square feet, you start adding these different rooms, like the workout room downstairs, which takes up space in the garage. You start adding square footage up here. That really starts to add up, and where you can really manipulate these plans to how you like living in the home, or how you foresee living in the home. And I want to go back to something that we were talking about earlier, which was some of the pros and cons of these different floor plans, builders, communities, and really the game is trying to figure out how much you feel about these different things. How significant are these different pros and cons? And so to kind of give you an example of that, or a couple examples, one example that I always go through is, what do you want to see in your community? For a lot of my clients, they say, well, I don't need to have topography right in my backyard, right off the back of my home, but if it's in my community, I value that, right? I want to go out my front door and walk around and just see beauty, or I want to go to a beautiful amenity center that's perched up on a hillside that looks out to a waterway. They may not be as detailed as what I just mentioned, but a lot of people just say, hey, I don't need to have views off my backyard. I don't need to pay the premium to get that great lot. I just need it in my community. I want it around my amenity center. And when people that are willing to live a little bit further outside the city say that they want something like that in their amenity center, this is what I show them. Now, many communities have amenities, but very few have amenities like this one. That is the Colorado River right behind me, and to the right of me, there is a pool that I don't want to show, so there's a lot of people enjoying that right now on the weekend. So I want to give them privacy, but just know that pool area has the same view that you can enjoy anytime that you want right here at Lakeside at Tessera. Back to the video. Now, if you really liked views like that, but you want to live a little bit closer in, reach out to me. I got videos of so many different amenity centers. I don't publish all of them in public-facing videos, but I just got one where I had a client contract this past weekend in Leander, Texas. They're right off of 183 highway. They really valued location more than anything else, and we still landed on a great home that has 14-foot tall ceilings in the main living area, and they are walking distance to the second amenity center, and that amenity center has a ridiculous view off the back of it, and that's right there in the heart of Leander, Texas. If you don't know anything about the Austin metro area, Leander is one of the fastest growing suburbs in America, and it's because of the tech companies that have come to the northern Austin area. Some of those communities, like the one that my client landed in, is just about 20 to 30 minutes to some of these big employers like Apple and Amazon and Microsoft. And for those clients, both the husband and wife worked at Amazon. I have other clients that are down the street from there, a couple miles east from that community, that have incredible views off their backyard. One of them works at Apple, and I just have a lot of clients that I've gone down this rabbit hole of, well, what do you want in a floor plan? What do you want in a builder? What do you want in your community? And then how do you feel about these things? And oftentimes we need to tour some homes to get a good grasp on how strongly you feel about these different variables. But once I get some of those feelings of how strong you feel about some of those variables, it's pretty easy for me to figure out what your top options are and then provide them. And then most importantly, negotiate with the builders so that we not only get a great option, we also get it at a great price. Now, when I say great price, keep in mind, majority of opportunities on the market are usually bad. Like 95% of opportunities are bad. But you have to sift through all these options to find some good ones, like 5% of the market. But then also, out of those good opportunities, there's good ones and there are great ones. And what separates them is really the motivation of the seller. So I'll give you a couple examples. I've seen builders where when they're selling lots, across the Austin metro area and things slow down in other communities, they might do a company-wide promotion for building from scratch. And that's such a good opportunity to get in some of these popular neighborhoods. That builder who's just making a broad company policy for a short time period, that's a good opportunity to get some money towards design and get you a credit to get your price a little bit lower. The other opportunity are inventory homes. Inventory homes are homes that are already under construction and are either completed or near completion. And obviously there is a big motivation for the builder to get a buyer under contract on those homes. Now, if you want specific examples of what that looks like and the builders that are the most negotiable, I'm tracking this on a weekly basis and constantly making offers for my clients. So reach out to me. My number's at the bottom of the description of this video, and I'm happy to share that information. But if you want some general examples, stick with me while we go through the Thornhills Plan built by Toll Brothers Homes. This is in the community that we talked about earlier called Travisso, and this home is for sale at the time I'm recording this video. Now, before I give you the price, let me give you the metrics for this home because it's one of the largest homes Toll Brothers builds in the Austin metro area. This has 6 bedrooms, 6.5 bathrooms, is around 5,900 square feet, has a 3-car garage, and backs up to a beautiful Greenbelt. Now I'm going to walk through this home in detail and even talk about different options that Toll Brothers is currently offering. One of them is actually right here at the stairwell. They have a floating stairwell option, and I actually just walked a Toll Brothers home under construction that has 2 different staircases, and the floating stairwell option looks incredible because it looks like the stairwell is floating, and I just thought it was such a fun custom upgrade that you usually see on custom homes, but Toll Brothers is offering it on some of their plans. They also have very open concept homes, as you can tell, where we're open to the second story in the living room, as well as when we first walk in the front door. Now, I say this often, when we start here in the kitchen, so many of my clients tell me they want as many cabinets as possible. And I like this upgrade option where they can extend the cabinets all the way down to the back wall, where it makes this kitchen look huge. Now, we do have a separate dining area closer to the front of the home. So this is just a breakfast nook area where they have a few windows that open up to that Greenbelt and make it feel like the outdoor area is a part of the indoor area. Now, they did a designer vent hood, and I like the backsplash here that extends all the way down to the back wall as well, but it just includes a lot of the colors that are here in this kitchen. So some of those dark backsplash colors get pulled out from the cabinet color that's here, and then the dark veins running through this countertop also get pulled out by the cabinet color. It's such a great contrast that so many of my clients are looking for in their kitchen. Now, we're going to take a look at the outdoor area a little bit later on in the video, and then I'm going to show you some of the lots that are coming up in this community of Travisso. I'll show you one of the lots that my client's building a 5,000 plus square foot home in this community, and then I'll also talk about pricing. So this home is for sale at $1.65 million. But if that's out of budget for you, maybe you don't need as much square footage, or you don't value backing up to a Greenbelt, I'll talk a little bit later on in the video about options in this community where I've had clients close under $1 million. I have a client under contract at $1.25 million, another client at $1.4 million. So there's so many different price points and options in this community. Now, when I say options, I mean both from a design and structural standpoint. So from a design standpoint, the flooring, the cabinets, the countertops, the tile, these are all different design upgrades in the home. And as we circle back to the kitchen, I missed the waterfall countertops on that kitchen island. They look incredible, but the structure of this home is also amazing. Take a look at the fireplace on this wall. Most of my clients love putting in like a tile or some sort of design work around the fireplace going all the way up to the ceiling, just to break up that wall, so it complements a lot of the design upgrades that are there in the kitchen. Now you see the waterfall countertops and that cabinet overlay in the kitchen island. And then structurally, and we're going to keep going back and forth between the two, you have sliding glass doors on this back wall, and that opens up the space to that gigantic patio that has tall ceilings to really open up this main living area. So I love when design and structure come together to make a room feel very grand, and I think they definitely did that in the living room. If I was nitpicking, the only thing I felt like was missing was a fireplace design going all the way up to the ceiling. For a lot of builders, they like keeping that open for clients or a home buyer to do that after closing, so they can select the tile or the design they really want in their living room. Moving on, we are in the primary bedroom where we have that tray ceiling, a few windows off the back wall, and privacy on this side of the home. This is so important because when we were looking at lots for this section, my client had probably about 14 different lots that they could choose from. And when we get outside, I'll point out where their lot is, but they ended up finding a lot that was significantly lower in price. And we looked at it together where they had privacy off one side. And even though there were neighbors behind them, we noticed this Greenbelt and that we would be about 14 feet higher than the neighbor that was behind us. Also, that neighbor wasn't directly facing the back of our home. It was kind of at an angle, and we felt like that we would get a view. And while we look at this primary shower, I love this accent tile that goes all the way up to the ceiling here. But if you're wondering, well, how do you not know if there's going to be a view on a lot? And I have to tell you, once you walk hundreds of lots, you start to realize there are usually trees on many lots that haven't been cleared out yet. So you won't know the exact grading of that lot or the slope of that lot until they start, uprooting trees or taking out huge rocks, or like in this community, there's a lot of limestone in the ground. So those huge stones, you don't know how much of those they're going to pull from the ground, and then if they're going to level it from there or if they're going to start filling that back up. And that's going to dictate how high your home is built up or down. Now, it's not like a 20 or 30 foot difference, but sometimes like a few feet here or there can make a big difference of the view that you're going to get. And what we were so excited is when our home got built out, you could already tell once the slab went up that we were definitely going to have a view from the second floor with a second floor balcony, but we ended up having a view on the first floor. And I have their video of their home getting posted here soon, so definitely subscribe to the channel if you want a good view of one of my clients that built out around 1.25 million for well over 4,000 square feet down the street from here. Fantastic home. But as you can tell here, as you get a little bit of privacy off the side of your home, you get some spectacular views. Now, if you are wondering why that is clear glass and in a bathroom where people can just peek in, just know a lot of builders keep that open for you to put in window treatments. I have a company that can put in a curtain that still allows you to see out of that window, so you can still get the view, but it blocks anybody from being able to see in. And that is really important for a lot of these windows, especially if you're going to pay for the view. Some of these lots in Travisso, they have 6-figure lot premiums attached to it. And that means you have to add that price to the base price of the home. And that's because not all lots are the same. Some lots back up to like a stone wall, some back up to a bunch of neighbors, and then some back up to a view that looks out for miles. There's gonna be different prices attached to that. So you should know that if you're gonna pay a large price for an amazing lot, you should be able to maximize the view in every way possible. And that means picking the right lot, the right plan, and then when you have the plan and it's built up, having the right upgrades in the home to really maximize that view. Now, what we just saw previously was the powder bathroom right off of that main living area, so perfect place for it. But what I really want to get to is this backyard patio. Now, what I think makes a great backyard patio is tall ceilings. I have a client that has an incredible view they're building right now, and they also have tall ceilings in their patio, and they just saw their home for the first time at a pre-drywall stage. And even with the home mess, there's still a lot going on there. There weren't even walls up yet in their home that they were building from scratch. They just thought to themselves, wow, this is spectacular. This patio looks so huge. And what I think was doing that was really the ceiling height and then backing up to a view. And this home really reminds me of that, where you have a greenbelt. Maybe you do have a view off the right side of this home, maybe not off the left side because there is a little bit of elevation here. But this is where ceiling height and windows everywhere just make such a big difference, because this patio definitely feels grand. Now, if you want another lot to check out that's also in this community, let me show you where my client's building. It will give you a good idea of what's possible in this community of Travisso. Now, I'm standing in one of the lots that my client's building on in Travisso. Now, they're building a 5,000 plus square foot home, and they wanted a spectacular view off their backyard. They put in a second floor balcony as one of their structural upgrades, and that's why we landed right here, because they're gonna have that view right off of their balcony and even a view off the first floor of their home. So if you want views like this, you want great lots that you can build your dream home on, reach out to me. My number's at the bottom of the description of this video. Back to the video. Now, if you want an idea on what lots are coming up later on in the video, I'm going to show you the new section of 100-foot wide lots that you can build with Toll Brothers. And you can build some of these plans that feel very grand. I believe they're going to be bringing in some other plans. There's a new model home that's being built in the community that is just about to finish up. So I'll also get video footage of that home. But just know that there are lots for sale almost at any time in Travisso. It's just a question of size. So while we look at this dining room that has this tray ceiling that opens up this space, I'll just mention that my client's lot that we were just looking at, that you can build over 5,000 square foot homes on, those are 80-foot wide lots. At the time I'm recording this video, there are 80-foot wide lots for sale, and some of them may not be shown online. For most builders, when they have somebody break contract or they have somebody move from one lot to another or to an inventory home that is already closed and a client really likes it and they allow them to move, they don't just post those lots that are for sale on their website. If they do, they get dozens and dozens of phone calls, and they'd rather just reach out to a couple of agents that have a lot of clients looking at this community and first go to them to see if any of their clients are interested. So that's why a lot of the lot shots that I get, I'm already out there for my clients anyway with my videographer, and I get my videographer to put up a drone in the air and do all these things for our clients so that they get a good visual of what that lot looks like. But then I post some of those lots here on some of these videos that I make because I'm already out there with my videographer anyway. My point in sharing that with you is I was actually just out looking at this home because I have a client that's interested in it, but I also have that same client that's interested in a lot that just became available for sale, and it's not shown on any website online. So if you want details on that, reach out to me. There's some really interesting options that are coming up. Now that there's some completed inventory homes, you have some buyers shifting to some of these other homes. Some of them are trying to get a little bit more incentives, get the interest rate bought down. There's a lot of moving parts right now in this current market. And on top of all that, we have new lots that are coming up in this community. So I'll show you a glimpse of what that looks like. They're actually clearing out to start paving the roads in that section. So I'll show you what that looks like a little bit later. Now, what we just saw previously was a 3-car tandem garage. And then next to that was the utility room for a washer and dryer. And then at the front of the home here, we have this large study. And I thought it was intelligent. They put a floor outlet there. I get a lot of my clients that say they want to put their desk in the middle of the room, but they don't want to have wires running around or trip over those wires. So it's good to have that floor outlet and have that planned up front. When you are building from scratch, that floor outlet actually goes in before they even pour the concrete for this home. So that needs to be decided very early on in the build process. And a lot of these structural upgrades do need to be selected right away before you even contract on a home if you are planning to build from scratch, simply because as soon as you contract on the home, the builder sends everything in for permitting. So we're in the suburb of Leander, Texas. It's a fast-growing suburb outside of Austin, Texas. And so everything gets sent into the city of Leander to get permits because the builder can't touch anything on this land. They can't do any site work until they start getting permits back from the city of Leander. And so going back to structural upgrades, some of the structural upgrades would be actually the patio down there. There's an extension option that's offered at the time I'm recording this video. It's just called an alternate covered patio. There's also an alternate kitchen island that just makes the kitchen island a little bit bigger. I mentioned floating stairs downstairs, which I think would be a very fun upgrade to have. Just makes that stairwell look very clean, very modern. And then what's already included in the plan are these great areas like this game room that has this slope in the ceiling, great windows off the back wall, and it really captures the beauty that's here in Travisso, where you can see a hillside all the way in the back. Now, the other 2 structural upgrades that are offered on the second floor is one of them is going to be right here. So this is just a storage area. They don't have the structural upgrade shown in this home, but at the time I'm recording this video, Toll Brothers is offering an interior wet bar in this area. Now, the reason why that's structural is because of plumbing. They need to plan for that plumbing accordingly, and that would be a very fun space to have a wet bar, simply because right next to the game room right here is a media room. And that's why you see so many white caps on the wall. It's because it's already pre-wired for a speaker system. And these are some of the fun things you can do when building from scratch, or you can buy a home that's already existing like this that has good electrical in it. In fact, you might have seen it previously in the pantry area that's next to the kitchen. They had outlets on the wall, and that's perfect for people who are trying to hide appliances in their pantry area. And I've had a lot of clients put in outlets in their pantry for that exact reason. Now, the other structural upgrade that's offered here on the second floor that we will see is adding an additional bedroom and full bathroom. And that's where we get a 6-bedroom, 6.5 bathroom home, where this is such a large home at 5,900 square feet. We even have a second stairwell, which you just saw there. And there are some great lots that are coming up right here in Travisso. So if you're more interested in building from scratch and taking these plans, picking the right options for you, then check out these lots that are coming up. Now, I'm standing in the new section that's here in Travisso that, as you can tell by the dirt roads behind me, is coming up. So if you have more time and you prefer building from scratch, these are the types of lots that have incredible views that you can build a luxury home right here in Travisso. Back to the video. Now, if you're more interested in Lakeside at Tessera, or you want to see more lots that are coming up there, there is a future section that's coming up in that community where we toured that model home earlier in the video. So I'll show you some lots that are coming up there in a second. One thing I wanted to cover in this walkthrough of this home that's for sale is, I think it was missed downstairs, there is a second bedroom and full bathroom downstairs. It's right off of the kitchen. So if you're focused on having a place for your parents or somebody elderly, you don't want them going up and down the steps, maybe you have a new baby as well, you want them on the first floor with you, there is two bedrooms downstairs in this home, and then 4 bedrooms upstairs. And shout out to my videographer Mark, he does such a great job of walking through these homes, and I always appreciate him getting footage for me because I'm spending time doing many other things in real estate, and he saves me a lot of time going to these areas. So no worries for that getting missed. If you want a walkthrough of what that looks like, always happy to get it while this home is still for sale. Now, before we get to the lot shot of Lakeside at Tessera, where there are some incredible views in Lago Vista, Texas, I want to cover the difference between these communities because they're around 15 minutes away from each other, but there are some big differences depending on your criteria between these communities. So this community of Travisso in Leander, Texas, why so many people like it is because it's the start of the rolling hills that are here in the northwestern corridor of the Austin Metro. If you don't know anything about Austin, we have amazing hills that are all along the northwest, west, and southwest corridor of Austin. And the beautiful part about those hills is there's the Colorado River running through them in different parts. So there's great activities, there's great beauty, and that lifestyle combination is just incredible. But if you live deep into the hills, it's very difficult to get out of the hills. For example, I have somebody who I was just talking to that lives in a resale home in a community called Steiner Ranch. I'm not trying to pick on Steiner Ranch, but it's right off of a highway called 620, and there's nothing but stoplights on that highway. And because of all the growth along that highway, it is very congested. And sometimes it can be very annoying for some people that say, hey, just to get to the grocery store or a restaurant or a shop or meeting up with a friend, it takes me 15, 20 minutes just to go a few miles. And I've had a lot of people complain about that. Don't get me wrong, there are areas of Austin that have traffic during rush hour. I mean, almost every single part has some sort of traffic, including outside of Travisso at some of these stoplights, but it's not as much compared to other areas that are in the hills or deeper into the hills. One of those areas is definitely Lakeside at Tessera. I wouldn't say traffic is the major concern, it's just deeper into the hills where that's where that extra 15 minutes going through the hills can be annoying for some people who want to be a little bit closer in to the Austin metro area and some of the amenities that are here in neighboring suburbs, especially some of the ones that are getting built out, like the Leander Northline project or the planned project of Leander Springs, or there is a big project called the Bell District coming to Cedar Park. There's many different projects that some people say they just want to be closer to. The other big difference is schools. Now, schools takes a very in-depth discussion usually because I think the details and the trends really matter. So if you want to have that discussion, reach out to me. I've been looking at school ratings for the last 4 years every single week. And every month or so, it starts to shift in a certain direction. And knowing what that trend looks like and the locations of those trends is really important. So I'm always happy to share my screen and show you what that looks like. But this community of Travisso feeds into Leander ISD. ISD is Independent School District, and right now a lot of people want to be in Leander ISD. Where Lakeside at Tessera is located is Lago Vista ISD, which just hasn't seen as much growth as Leander ISD just because of all the growth that's happened here in Leander. Leander's been growing rapidly with these forever homes, and to be frank, a lot of these forever homes brings in a lot of money into the schools. Money is used as a resource to make their education better, and that's bringing even new schools to this area. For example, at the front of this neighborhood, there is a new elementary school that is planned right now. At the time I'm recording this video, it's fall of 2027. It's planned to come in. That could shift over time, but these are big projects. You know, they're spending around $80 million on that elementary school project at the front of this neighborhood. Now, those are the big two differences, but there's a third one that most people don't think about, which I'll get into in a second. But just to recap, that first is Leander, and this area that we're in Leander is right off of the start of the hills, so it's much easier to get out of here, and it's closer to the developments that are happening along the northwest corridor of the Austin metro area. And then that second, again, is schools, and those are the two big differences that I think most people are aware of. Most people don't think of the big difference though of the type of homes that are being built in this area. And that makes a massive difference when you're looking at future resale as well as current livability. Here in Travisso, there are so many forever homes being built. When I say forever homes, these are homes that are generally speaking 3,000 to 6,000 square feet. People are not buying these homes and then renting them out. There's a very low probability of that happening because the price to rent ratio does not make sense at that square footage and at those price points. And for that reason, people tend to buy here and stay here long term. That helps with livability, obviously, because you meet neighbors, or if you have kids, your kids meet your kids down the street, they meet neighbors, and they grow up together, and everybody stays in their home long term. Now, that obviously helps with future resale as well, because these neighborhoods become very prestigious over time and well sought after, and doesn't tend to have a lot of supply in them because people are in their homes long term and are not reselling the homes. And that really helps with your future resale value. Now, the other types of neighborhoods that have a lot of more starter homes, they're a little bit more at risk to be more rental heavy. And that is a risk that comes with any of those neighborhoods that build a little bit smaller homes. With that being said, pricing can be a lot better in some of these other neighborhoods. So if you like the views in Lakeside at Tessera and you want a good price on a home, well then check out the lots that are coming up in that community. I'm in the new section that's coming up at Lakeside at Tessera. As you can tell, we got the waterway back here that's very close by to Lakeside at Tessera. And then this is the new section of lots that's coming up right behind me. So this section is perched up on a hill, has incredible views, and there are nothing but beauty around this area. So stick with me, back to the video. So incredible views coming up to Lakeside at Tessera. I don't know if Toll Brothers is going to be there yet. There isn't anything for sale just yet in that new section. But as you can tell, there are new phases coming up in these various communities. And so if you want to be the first person to know about these that are coming up and get in line on some of these great views, some of these great lots that are coming up, or if you want to see off-market properties, like I got one that's on east-facing 1 acre lot that has an incredible view off the backyard, then just reach out to me for those types of opportunities. Now, I hope you like this home in Travisso, but we started with Lakeside at Tessera, so let me go back there right here. Now, I want to hear from you in the comments, which one had the better view? Was it the home behind me, the lots that we saw previously, or was it that beautiful amenity center right here at Lakeside at Tessera? Now, if you want to see more homes for sale, that's going to be on my website at the top of the description of this video. And then if you want that unbiased perspective to try to navigate through all the options that are in this current market, go ahead and text HOME to the number at the bottom of the description of this video. Now, if you want to see another home built by Toll Brothers, it's the Haywick Plan, and I actually have one of my clients that's building that plan from scratch. So go ahead and click on the Haywick Plan right here, and as always, I hope this helps. Take care, everyone.